They were trying to get us to a point where they could actually kill us and bring us back from the dead, kill us, bring us back from the dead, all the CPR and stuff like that, because that's what it'll be like on set.
They did it by breaking us down.
Yeah.
They did it by essentially reducing us to the absolute amoeba stage and then building us up again as dwarfs.
We've come through it as better dwarfs, I feel.
I do too.
I know that William's discovered his inner dwarf.
I have. Well, we all have, actually.
It's a frightening thing, but this is the job that had to be done.
If I could save key moments in Block 1, arriving in Rivendell and meeting Elrond and dining at his table, it really feels like you're stepping into Middle-earth.
There are some who would not deem it wise. What do you mean? You're not the only guardian to stand watch over Middle-earth. I remember it now, but later on.
I love working with Hugo and Kate. Back in Rivendell again, that was fantastic.
Hello. Welcome.
I still can't quite get over being on set with Ian as Gandalf and then, Kate Blanchett with Galadriel and Hugo with Elrond, and you just feel like you step back into a movie again. It's kind of weird.
This is a new one? This is different.
Yeah, different one.
High points really, I think, was getting Kate Blanchett with a long train.
Beautiful. Kate, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that is.
They're all going to want one. Just don't ask me to walk anywhere.
One of the things that I like is that we're getting a little bit of the music into the movie too, the songs. Tolkien wrote quite a few songs for The Hobbit.
I got to sing a song.
You want to hum a few bars for us now?
Oh, it's a classic song. It's after sort of Cole Porter, Gershwin, that type of thing. There's an inn, there's a merry old inn beneath an old grey hill.
He squeaked and soared and quickened the tune while the landlord shook some man in the moon. It's after 3, he said. I think it'd be great if Dwalin just yelled the whole thing. Yep. So the cat
we'll swallow the tipsy cat.
Is this the Metallica version? Who is this?
That's the Metallica version.
Well, I'll be singing at the Oscars is a different matter, but hopefully some people might sing it in the shower.
Excuse me.
I think this is a Peter Jackson question. Which dwarf would you like to invite to dinner? I wouldn't invite any of them except myself.
I'm afraid that the table manners aren't of the best.
Oh, you get your fist when you do that!
They would not want Biffa over for dinner. He would be like the bottom of the line.
Ori, because he'd be very polite.
Excuse me.
Well, it'd be me, obviously. Because I'd cook. Stephen Hunter does pretty well with bad table manners. He just eats so much. Have you seen the size of him? I mean, oh good lord. He's enormous. I tried to talk him about cutting down his cholesterol and his butter intake.
I don't think you'd invite Norrie because he'd steal all the silverware. You'd never invite Graham McTavish because he would sit there and glare at you and show his forearms all night.
Dwalin's a real warrior. When he parties, he goes completely mad, like so many Scottish people.
Here you go.
Well, the words kettle black calling pot come to mind.
I don't think you'd invite any dwarf to dinner, actually.
I wouldn't have them all together, though. Not 13, maybe a couple at a time.
Special person to meet here, John Rhys Davies. It was fun on one of the days that we were in Bag End with the dwarves that John Rhys Davies came to visit.
Oh, yeah?
And it was great to introduce him not only to Gloin, who's his father in the story, but also to all the other dwarves.
It's just like coming home to family.
I predicted what John would say, and he pretty much said it word for word. I could just imagine, him saying, "Oh, you poor bastards." that's pretty much what he went on to say.
You poor buggers. When he gets you running up the hill in full armour, you'll enjoy that. But you are going to be spectacular. And you'll be chased by women all around the world.
but only if you're in costume and makeup. Okay. All right.
We've been here since January the 13th. So what is that, 5 months? And we haven't even scratched the surface.
Who are you doubling, Pete?
I'm doubling Stanley Kubrick.
One of the biggest moments was when we all put our gear on and we all stood together, sort of looking around at each other into the characters' faces. To stand in a circle and look at the guys that were going on the quest, I got a real tingle up my spine.
Lovely, thank you, that's terrific. I think we can check the gate on that. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bittersweet moment, but it's time to leave. Hasta la vista. Then driving off.
I'm waiting for somebody, sorry.
It could have been...
I know.
Just go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just go. We've had enough. Go.
Are you wrapped?
No, I'm not wrapped. They're keeping the good people.
Okay. Oh, hey, hey. Hey.
Okay, we'll go now.
It's a bittersweet moment, but it's time to leave. Hasta la vista.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I don't know whether there'll be any more, because I have to find New Zealand, which I've lost. I think it's over here.
Who is that odd little fellow?
Action. Cut. Lovely. Hi. Welcome to our new blog. This time, we thought we'd talk a little bit about 3D.
Get a good look at your opening shot.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
Just arm in a little closer. Just watch your back.
Hi, I'm Angus. Welcome to the world of 3D.
Shooting The Hobbit in 3D is a dream come true. I mean, if I had the ability to shoot Lord of the Rings in 3D, I certainly would have done it. What I actually did on The Lord of the Rings is I had a 3D camera taking 3D photographs. Hopefully, one day, maybe even on 3D Blu-ray, we might be able to actually show you some of the 3D photos from 10 or 12 years ago.
It's 3D and I've got reading glasses. It's all good.
But now, the reality is that it's not that difficult to shoot in 3D. I love it when a film draws you in and you become part of the experience. And 3D helps immerse you in the film. But the essence of our camera system is a camera called the Red Epic.
Really, it's this thing that enables us to shoot 3D on The Hobbit.
But of course, to shoot 3D, you actually need two cameras.
The problem that we have in the cinema world is that the lenses that we use are so large that we cannot get an interocular similar to a human's, which is the separation between your eyes. For us to get the two cameras as close together as possible, they have to shoot into a mirror.
We have to use a mirror system, which is a rig that's designed by a company called 3Reality.
One's left eye, one's the right eye. One shoots through a mirror, the other one bounces off a mirror, and so the two images are perfectly overlaid. With using two eyes, we can move the cameras apart, and also, more importantly, is find a convergence point. For example, see around someone's face, just like you're looking at a friend.
The convergence point is the screen plane itself. 3D forms two places. Positive space, which is inside the box, what you see behind the person who's standing on the screen, and negative space, which is what you feel comes out into the audience, an arm, a bullet, or whatever you want.
And the whole idea with these rigs is you can change the interocular and the convergence as we're shooting.
We can see that separation on a 2D screen with a left and a right eye overlay.
So we can do this live throughout a shot, changing our 3D effect the whole way through.
Roll sound.
We're watching the movie in 3D as we make it.
It looks so good. You almost feel like you're in it.
A lot of people have an image of 3D being big and cumbersome, and that's true. But we've got a lot of different rigs that we've built for different purposes. It's actually easier in this weird 3D world to have different camera systems for different uses. So this is a camera that we built to go on a crane that can move around and it never comes off the crane.
This is the TS5 in a handheld mode. It's our main workhorse camera. It's light, it's small, so it allows Peter to get into very tight, narrow corridors and caves as if he would with a 2D camera.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
You know, mobile camera work has always been very important for the films that I've made, and the last thing I wanted to do when we went to 3D was to restrict or change the shooting style.
So with the camera doing that as well, you don't need me to do much.
It was very important for The Hobbit that we feel like the same filmmakers have gone back into Middle-earth to tell a new story.
We're shooting at the same speed as you'd shoot 2D. Dollies, cranes, Steadicam, we put it on the shoulder and we shoot handheld. The same as we would always shoot a movie.
Of course, once you've got 3 or 4 cameras for main unit, you need 3 or 4 cameras for second unit, which is 8 cameras, which is really 16 cameras. This is a world of the Hobbit camera department.
We have 48 Red Epic cameras, and they're on 17 3D rigs.
This one's called Walter, which was my grandfather. This one's Ronald, my uncle. Emily was Fran's grandmother. Perkins was actually Fran's dog. Witchy Pooh, Frank, Bill is my dad. Fergus is the name of one of our pugs. Tricky Woo, that's the name of Pekingese. Stan is another one of our pugs. There's cameras called John and Paul, George and Ringo, who are not relations of mine. Are we having fun?
Yay! We're not shooting film, we shoot digitally. We shoot onto these cards, which slot in the side of the camera. And each one of these is 128 gig. On top of that, you're shooting at 5K resolution.
A very sharp, clear image.
Needs like a chart, but, you know, like 5K's there, 4K's about there, and then your 1080 home TV is down here, so it gives you sort of an idea of the amount of information that we're actually capturing on these.
Let's do another one of those.
48 frames, yes.
Yep.
We're shooting The Hobbit at a higher frame rate, at 48 frames per second, which is twice the normal 24 frames.
The human eye sees 60 frames a second, so 48 frames is more of a natural progression toward giving the viewer what they would actually see in the real world.
The people who have seen scenes of The Hobbit at 48 frames a second often say that it's like the back of the cinema has had a hole cut out of it where the screen is, and you're actually looking into the real world. Once you add stereo, and it gives you that extra ability to control depth, you can devise ways in which it can become part of the storytelling of the film. For instance, in Mirkwood, we really play on the fact that it's a forest that's kind of hallucinogenic almost. It draws you in. It makes you part of it, and you may never get out. What we want is just to stay where you are and then... Stay back! Stay where you are!
Mirkwood is a big forest, and it's full of vines and sinister-looking trees, I suppose you say. It has a lot of things hanging down, a lot of things coming from all sorts of angles, and it helps us with the 3D to be able to push into that and try and get the audience to feel that they're actually trying to move into the forest with the cameras and give it that dark and look over your shoulder feeling.
Colour-wise, with the red camera, tends to eat colour a little, and so we add more colour.
If you look at the ungraded footage, the trees look incredibly psychedelic. They look like they were painted in 1967.
We wouldn't normally be quite as bold as this, even in Mirkwood, which is an enchanted forest, so it's like we oversaturate. Look!
In the movie, they won't look anything like that. They'll be graded down, and you'll just get the barest hint of colour in the finished film.
You're coming back!
3D 48 frames is pretty unforgiving, and we have to change our whole way to go about coloring these things, because what we found out in early tests that if there wasn't enough red in these pieces, they would punch up yellow and react differently than normal skin with blood running through it. So here's an example. This is Graham McTavish as Dwalin, and we've had to add a lot of red tones to his makeup. So if you notice, if you stick your hand up next to your face, how incredibly pale this man is right now.
I've barely seen daylight for the last 6 months, that's fine.
Yes. So we have to add the blood in the piece to make him look like a normal flesh tone. It looks freaky now, but on film it's going to read beautifully. Fingers crossed.
With the 3D HD stuff, it is amazing how when people's hair moves around on the wigs, it has to actually be the real thing. It has to be real hair. And you find, because the number of frames a second you're using and so on and so forth, if you've got real hair moving around, it just looks real.
I've never worked on a film that's 48 frames per second and uses the cameras that we're using. It's challenging to look for fabrics that work. I know full well that a fabric that we bought ages ago for a dressing gown for Bilbo would probably make people feel sick if they saw it on camera. It's got spots on it with a little spot inside it, and it would just be like someone throwing stones at your face, I think. So I've avoided that fabric like the plague.
It's in very poor taste.
Others are just a joy to behold, and the camera picks it up and the audience could see every last detail. So in that sense, it's really exciting.
This film is really breaking new grounds in many ways as far as the technology of the filming goes. But John and I are still working in our time-honoured methods of pencil and charcoal, composing pictures in 2D. And we thought we'd try and come up with some way of actually incorporating a 3D aspect into the way that we were producing the concept art. That might communicate more clearly to Peter and to the other technicians. So what we're doing is 2 drawings. One is in red, one is in blue, and the 3D glasses have a red lens and a blue lens, one for each eye.
Don't go too heavy.
This is probably the first serious cinema production where the actual concept art has been done in 3D. Rather than sharing just the same office, we're actually sharing basically the same vision.
Yes.
There's been a bit of a tendency for me to take on the blue, and obviously, you know, sitting on the right-hand side of the picture, it's easier to actually get your head around the left side. It doesn't make sense when you try and explain it like that. It's a huge help for Peter because we're actually proposing the full depth. I mean, it means Peter has to wear glasses when he looks at our art, but...
Yeah.
My God, coming at you, look at that. Whoa!
If you happen to have a pair of glasses like these at home, you should be able to see the artwork in 3D.
You look great. Very three-dimensional.
You've definitely improved.
I know.
So I hope you found this blog interesting. I know it's a little frustrating because just about everything we've been talking about you can't actually see at the moment. You can't see the 3D, you can't see the 48 frames, you can't see the 5K, but you will. December 2012, you'll finally get a chance to see what we've been talking about. Anyway, I've got to get back to set. It looks like they're almost ready for me down there. We're actually shooting today, as you can see, in a pine forest, but it's not really a pine forest. It's a polystyrene and plaster pine forest. But very shortly, we're going to be leaving the studio and moving on to locations for a few months. So the next time we see you will be from a location somewhere in New Zealand. Catch up with you soon.
And boats, eh? Everybody thinks they're a sailor. So welcome to our new blog, which is about the logistics of location shooting. We've been travelling pretty much the length and breadth of New Zealand shooting locations for The Hobbit. It's been great to get outside. It's been great to get that texture of Middle-earth into the movie. After many, many weeks of shooting in the studio, we've established our characters, we've established our story, and it was finally time to get on the road and establish the landscapes of Middle-earth.
So we're currently moving about 500 crew for main unit to Hamilton and then about 200 second unit crew to various parts of the country.
We like to call it the biggest logistical move in cinematic history.
Just because of the size of the fleet, close to 140 vehicles.
As you can see, we're moving around a huge surface. I think everyone is secretly scared but quietly excited.
The main reason for going on location on the project is to capture the scenic beauty of New Zealand. Peter's often said one of the things that won the fans over so much in the Lord of the Rings series was the unbelievable vistas and scenics because they were so magnificent.
People are really excited about getting outside and taking this on the road. These are our changes for main unit crew, so this is how big we actually are. We're probably over 500.
Everybody has to be in the right vehicle at the right time, they have to travel to the right place, they have to have rooms to be able to sleep in. I can't begin to imagine the logistics involved with shifting the crew, the cast, the equipment that we have on the Hobbit. It's pretty mind-blowing.
You have to take everything with you to produce the films.
We're having to provide our own electricity, areas to cook food, areas for people to sit down and eat. You've got to provide water, the bathrooms and the toilets that people need. You have to have weather cover, heat when it's cold, and you've got to provide cooling when it's hot.
The daunting aspect of that is it's all got to get into trucks, it's all got to be on wheels, and it's all got to be ready to roll.
We're about to try and cram all of this, and all of that, all of this, some of that, most of this, all these trucks, most of these people, but not that scissor lift up there that stays, are going to go into some of these trucks. These guys here are going to go into these trucks too.
Nice one.
No cell phone laws here, man.
One of our biggest challenges on the production is actually shooting all the locations in one hit for both main unit and second unit.
You can certainly start there. We're away for about 7.5 weeks if the weather holds up, so we're basically praying that every spot we go to in the country is sunny and beautiful.
First location is Matchmaker up in Old Hobbiton, so returning back to the first spot from Lord of the Rings, which is pretty exciting.
Fantastic job, and we're out of here at 4 o'clock in the morning. And as you can see, we're totally under control.
Why aren't you helping?
I've got to carry this. We're going to some of the remotest locations of New Zealand, and if there's one thing Grips can't live without, that's the latte, soy.
That's right. We're getting ready to go away, and so far we haven't packed anything. And tomorrow is our last day with 30-odd hobbits doing a big scene against green screen on for Hobbiton.
This is my Louis Hobbit, my Sonny Hobbit.
So we need the largest team on, because we've also got to try and pack. And then they're going to say, where did you pack it, because I'll need it? Where's that wig? Did you put it away? No, we've got to put it on his head now. And we'll all be here till midnight trying to load up the buses because they leave at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Be sure to pack scotch, tequila,
wine and beer,
a heap of plants,
3 razor blades,
60 kilos of toilet paper, a few artificial trees,
stocks,
and some Jägermeister.
Last day Wellington, so everything needs to move.
We've got a stock truck coming in to take our 49 mixed age sheep, 15 chickens, 9 goats, 5 3-year-old steers, 4 pheasants, 2 Muscovy ducks. We've also got Michael Jackson, the walking chicken, on the lead.
We're just going to take you through, get your contracts done. We've got lunch packed for you to take on the road. So just follow me.
Oh, your keys are in it?
Keys are in it.
We've got GPS units installed in the trucks purely so we can watch what's happening as they move up and down the country.
If you don't arrive, we can't shoot.
Last truck should be out of here in half an hour, and then Hobbiton. Crikey.
Just remember, the reason you're on this plane is because you're so valuable to the production.
Our main unit had over 100 units on wheels that were travelling to the first location. That was quite a feat in itself, just having that amount of drivers on the road.
It's all about arrows, it's all about nets and directions.
Once we arrive, we get in and it's about an 8-hour turnaround from when the first truck turns up to when the unit base is actually functional for filming.
They've got to get these trucks level, working in, got to get them all powered up, and they've got to get them all functioning so quickly. Prosthetics, makeup, costume, catering.
It's not just a case of a small crew going into very out-of-the-way places. We're literally occupying the space of a football field. I think it's actually 2 football fields.
We've moved 7,000 cubic metres of dirt to accommodate everything that goes with making a film of this size with this many people involved. It's very much a mini city.
To everyone's amazement, they went home on Friday night in Wellington, turned up to work here on Monday morning, and everything's here, parked up in order and looking good and working.
It's okay. Rough day at the office today, Mom.
So after 110 days in the studio, we finally make it out into the sunshine. But I'll tell you what, Hobbiton is looking fantastic. The art department and the greens department have been working on it for nearly 2 years. The grasses have grown, the flowers are out, the plastic ones have even bloomed. It's weird when you come back to a place that you literally thought you would never see again. This is a great spot.
To be standing there with Elijah dressed up as Frodo, it was the nearest thing I think I'm ever going to come to a time machine.
This is actually the first time I'm stepping foot down into Hobbiton. I'll never forget that feeling of coming to Hobbiton for the first time. So much time spent in this universe, with these characters, and I keep referencing the fact that I turned 19 when I came to Hobbiton for the first time. 11 years ago. I'm 30 now. I don't know, there's so many feelings of nostalgia and history.
We'd been searching pretty much the whole country for this rolling green countryside. We were up here scouting around and found this place called Buckland Road. And sure enough, when we flew over it, we found the round tree, the hill, the lake. It was all meant to be. Of course, then it was a matter of talking to the owners of the land, getting their permission to shoot here and build here.
It was a Saturday afternoon during a major New Zealand rugby game that he came and knocked on my father's door. And he said they wanted to make a movie, and my father actually said, "Lord of the what?" I think I kicked him under the table quietly, but that's how it all started.
This time around they built it for real. So before, all of these hobbit holes were built using polystyrene. When the filming was finished, they tore it all down.
Even though it's been available for tours and, you know, for people to look at it, we didn't have any of the hobbit holes here. Doing the Hobbit now, it gave us the ability to rebuild Hobbiton out of permanent materials.
Materials that aren't going to deteriorate, and we can carry on showing people what's involved in making a movie behind the scenes.
It's all, I mean, that's actual rock, stone. It's pretty amazing.
Hobbiton is going to stay exactly as it is today, which is fantastic. There's real wood, there's real stone, real bricks, and it's going to be here hopefully for decades to come.
Yeah, no, it's a great gift to the people of Manamaut, and as Minister of Tourism, I'm all in favour of it, so well done.
Some prime real estate.
We'll get you two, we'll get Tatum.
Hobbits.
Oh, Jordan.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. You guys having a good day?
Yeah, it's good.
Hey.
How are those feet treating you?
Yeah, they're okay.
Are they?
When you're at Hobbiton, you forget that you're on a film set.
Seeing it like this kind of living model village is just extraordinary, and you just totally believe this place exists. And that's because it does. Maybe I've smoked a little bit too much of this now.
It's an authentic village. It's 100% 360 degree, look wherever you like, little hobbit village. You can imagine just being a hobbit in this environment and get up and have a cup of tea on the doorstep and listen to the birds and frogs and children running around. Or go to the market, buy a big bottle of beer and drink it.
I'm loving it.
You're not really designing a film set, you're trying to put yourself in the mindset of a hobbit and figuring out, well, where would you like your house to be?
There are 44 personalised hobbit holes, and each hobbit hole has the different little details depending on their location.
It's kind of amazing, the door's actually open.
Hello? Hello? No, nobody home at the moment. They must be at the market.
Welcome to the set of The Hobbit.
So how did you get involved in this? My 4 daughters auditioned and they all missed out. And I got in. So I wasn't a popular father at that point.
You guys are up for stealing, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Good.
Yeah, big bad hobbits.
Check this out. Oh yeah. I like to get a nice comb over.
Is this going to be in the movie?
Yeah, we can cut that. That's fantastic. We've got that. So we've just finished our first week on location.
Get out.
But, you know, I just wish I could move into one of these hobbit holes. I mean, this would be an absolutely idyllic place to live. It really would. This is the sort of place that I would very happily retire to. In fact, might think about it tonight or the next day. It would be good retiring here. That would be quite nice. Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed the first part of our location blog. The second part will be ready very early in the new year. And in the meantime, we've just shot the last shot for The Hobbit in 2011. So it only remains to do one last thing, which is to wish you all a Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Champagne! Very good. Welcome to the first blog of 2012. We're shooting part 2 of The Hobbit today. I'm here in Lake Town, but I can't show you anything. I can't show you the amazing set that's over there and the incredible thing that's over there because you're not allowed to see that till 2013. But what we can show you are the continuation of our location adventures. So if you remember from our last exciting episode, we were in Hobbiton. So let's pick it up from where we left off and travel around the rest of New Zealand. So we've just finished our first week on vacation. So it's goodbye to Hobbiton and hello to our next spot.
here is the weather. In Pew Pew today, it has, of course, been raining.
Yeah, welcome to Denise Bluffs, people. We've brought the weather with us, which is great.
We don't have the umbrellas in the movie, by the way, just in case you're wondering.
No, obviously the colours clash.
What's kind of weird is you're on the sets in the studio and they look so real. But you come out on location, this almost looks fake because you think this can't exist. It's just weird.
It's not real, it's a trick.
It's a trick.
It's a trick.
It's mind games.
Done with moves.
It's a very nice environment. Some nice stuff up in there. Just going to be a bit lumpy getting stuff around and building stuff on rocks and bits and pieces, but be nice. Good location.
I'm just worried about the dinosaurs.
So here we are at the Tudoa ski field on the flanks of Mount Ruapehu. This is the second oldest national park in the world.
Very ancient vegetation, magnificent colours, magnificent textures, but very fragile. And hence we've gone to exceptional lengths to actually make sure the impact on the site is minimised. So it's about scaffolding, it's about elevated boardwalks to keep people off the vegetation.
We built the world's biggest ramp, as far as I'm concerned, to get down to the thing. And everybody sort of walked out to the edge this morning and looked at it and sort of, jaws dropped and went, wow, okay. So that's how we get onto set today.
So this is my favourite location. It's beautiful. There's a mountain, there's a waterfall, there's a beautiful view across the valley there. It's one of those sort of archetypal Kiwi places that you think, God, New Zealand has such amazing landscapes.
It's a bit sad when the groups are going past with iron and yeah. Andy Serkis jumped in the icy cold stream to chase the fish as Gollum about 12 years ago. Just over there.
So, welcome to first day on location with second unit. I've spent quite a lot of the last few weeks in a chopper because a lot of our stuff was aerial coverage. We'd take off and choose our line and choose the way that we were going to shoot it and how we were going to reveal the landscapes.
So we're using the space cam on all the aerial stuff on this show. This particular rig is set up for 3D.
There's a chopper behind me, isn't there?
The bonuses of being on second unit is that we do a lot of locations that are too tricky or time consuming for main unit to go to, so a lot of our locations were helicopter only access, so we got very, very good at loading in and out of choppers.
So you've got literally 2 units that are now crisscrossing the country, both the North and South Islands. About halfway through our location shoot, first and second units met up, and it happened to be exactly halfway through the entire shoot, day 127, and we commemorated that with a hoodie, a halfway hoodie.
But it's 127 days and it's 2 films. Now, I've got a 133-day Lord of the Rings jumper, which was for 3 films.
Yes.
So 133 days for 3 films and 127 days for 2 films.
Yes, easily explained.
How?
Well, we're all 10 years older, so we're going a little slower.
That's true. One of the challenges was showing PJ what we'd been up to. So every day I would then do a kind of an edit of the takes that we'd done and put them together and make some selects, and then that would be sent off to Pete.
We are a long way from most of the infrastructure that we know and love, so we've had to rely on satellite technology to do all of our connectivity.
These are the 3 dishes that we're setting up today to provide internet for the crew. We're providing wireless and internet. We've also got a separate setup that's up at the director's tent that's beaming in footage from second unit that basically takes the feed that's coming in from the cameras, compresses it, sends it over the internet all the way through down to Peter's tent.
So far we've probably used about 6 kilometres of cable on the job. I'm not sure where it's all gone, but we keep on ordering more of it.
Strathtyre, Central Otago. So this is a location where you can literally shoot 360 degrees every direction. Had some incredible skies, what we'd call close encounters of the third kind skies. And where our skies are a little boring, because we've shot over 3 days, we'll probably replace them with these cool skies. I'd love to do that, get some real mood into it. One of the days of shooting on this location was actually up on the hill at something called the Rock and Pillar Range. If you just look over there, that's pretty much that distant ridge line between those two rocks. That's what they call the Rock and Pillars, where we had to have 10 helicopters ferrying crew, cast and equipment up the mountain.
This is Adam Brown's first helicopter ride.
Oh my God.
Are you so excited?
I'm well excited.
You should be.
So we're picking up at the end of our location shooting here at Strathtyrie and going to Queenstown.
Here we are, beautiful Queenstown. We're just at the base outside the Earnslow Burn, which is the most spectacular shooting location I think we've been to yet.
We're shortly going to do a rendition of The Hills Are Alive with the Sound of Music, starting with Mark Gabbardy's over there. So he's getting into his Maria position. There he is. It's snow.
That thing was a bad choice.
And we've been to Paradise before. That's where we shot a few scenes of Fellowship of the Ring, mainly back in 1999. Lothlorien Forest, Boromir's death.
The great thing about this job, you can see beautiful, beautiful places like this.
So you don't have to feel sorry for our actors that are leaving home for 7.5 weeks. We're very, very well looked after. The catering on this movie has been sensational.
The numbers we were doing on location were between 300 and 400 until we got to Twizel. Then we were doing 570, 580 because we had quite a few extras there as well. We cook 100 at least kilos of meat every day. One of the guys worked out that we'd been through a ton of oranges already.
It's Formal Friday today, so we're dressed in suit. It's one of the only ways to be able to, for the crew to know what day of the week it is. Every morning we crank out about 200, 300 coffees. We're heading off to the hills to look after a crew of about 100 people who've all been choppered up into the mountains. It being in the mountains, there's snow around, so it's cold. So obviously in formal dress sometimes it's not practical. So as you can see here, Andrew has gone from a 3-piece to a 4-piece with the addition of a nice cosy puffer jacket. Because you can't always look good, sometimes you have to be sensible.
Sometimes you take for granted the scenery of the country where you live, so to come out on the road is really amazing.
Good morning. Thank you. Oh.
Can't believe how nice it is.
We're the luckiest short people in the world.
We're among the luckiest people. I think it comes into people, not even height restricted.
New Zealand looking at its spectacular best, and a lot of very happy actors cavorting around in front of it.
Braemar Station was pretty difficult working conditions for the cast and the crew because the tussock and the ground's very uneven.
This is Matagauri, a New Zealand native from thornbush, which is everywhere that you ever want to walk.
You can't just parade through the tussocks and the rocks and the pebbles without looking. You suddenly realise that being out of doors in Middle-earth can be a difficult business, particularly when there's a pack of orcs or wargs.
Dances with wargs.
Heavenly wargs.
The boy who cried warg.
Aliens versus wargs.
I was a teenage warg.
Enormous amount of running. Scene 88, I think, is actually going to be a third film. It'll be coming out between the first and the second.
It's actually, for the most part, it's easier working inside a studio. But of course, you know, the studio doesn't have the incredible vistas, and that's what we were there for.
8 kilometres from Mount Cook, surrounded by the guys behind me. Unbelievable.
This is the Pelorus Bridge over the Pelorus River where we are shooting today.
I
I think my favourite day on set, unquestionably, was floating down the Chorus River in barrels.
Finally going to put our dwarves in barrels. That looks like fun. I'd do it myself if I wasn't busy doing other things.
Today we're swinging over the river. We've got some dwarves coming down in barrels.
Yeah! That was way cool, and if they ever make that a ride at any of the Warner Brothers movie worlds, lifetime pass, please.
While we were at Pelorus, our location shooting came to a pretty dramatic end because the police arrived and said they were about to issue a severe weather warning.
Okay, we need to shoot, please. It's raining. We need to get going.
B-marker. And I've never seen a crew pack up their gear so quickly. The very next day, everywhere where we were standing, where our equipment was, our cameras, our actors, the director was under floodwater. It was incredibly dramatic. The rise in the river level was like 20, 30 feet.
And that's location. Good. Done.
So that's the end of our location shooting, and we are about to go into our last 100 days, what we're calling Block 3. And look forward to talking to you again very, very soon. Hi, so welcome to our new blog. We've taken you away with us on location, but we thought that today you might enjoy having a little look into our studio, Stone Street. The public obviously aren't allowed in here while we're shooting. Morning. But we thought it would be great to give you all a private little tour around the world of The Hobbit here at Stone Street in Miramar, New Zealand. Used to be an old paint factory. We got hold of it just before we started Lord of the Rings. We built one sound studio for Lord of the Rings. We built another one on King Kong, and we built a couple more here for The Hobbit. And it's actually a great place to make movies right now.
Hi, this is Block 4, the production office. Come on in. This is the office. And our boss, Bridget York.
I'm working very hard on this folder here.
Have you got some filing skills?
It's top secret.
Okay, good.
I'm learning how to open it and close it.
Emma processing contracts in the Mother Freighter of 3'7". Kate Mulligan will find you whatever crazy thing you need. And this is Rach. She coordinates and distributes all our script revisions.
Hi there. I've just got some urgent script revisions to go out to all cast immediately. So I'm just going to hand these ones over to Mike. He's going to take them over to Jimmy Nesbitt for us.
Jimmy, yeah. Don't look at me directly in the eyes. Oh, hello. Thorin, Bard, Gandalf. Nothing for me. Come in and see the world that we inhabit here for the last 25 years. Decorated the trailer with things that remind me of home. Villages and the seaside in Northern Ireland where I'm from. My horse, Riverside Theatre. That was Martin, and he plays one of the characters in it. And there's the main character, me, Buffer.
Hello everybody, my name's Luke Evans and I play Bard, and I'm going to take you on a little trip around Trailer Park. We have 21 trailers where we've been living for the last 7.5 years. This is Aiden. Oh, look at Billy. He's my neighbour. Who the hell are these guys? I don't know, they're just trying to show them around. Stephen. Oh yeah, there's a long time we spend here sometimes, isn't there, when they're setting up scenes and things like that. It takes a long time, so...
It's like flatting, isn't it?
Basically. Yeah. What's flatting? You know, well, they keep all the young, good-looking lads at one end, see, all the ugly buggers, and they just don't want to mix with us.
Ooh, that was rubbish! Where's the green frog?
Good morning. And welcome to Stone Street. I'm just off to my prosthetics. Morning all. Okay, so this is my spot currently with the lovely Rachel. And now we're about to start the process. Come and see me again in a couple of hours when I'll look radically different. 2 hours later, here we are.
Hey Peter, we are travelling in 5.
Okay.
Hey guys, come on to me. I'm taking to the 80s Portacom. Home for a lot of us.
So down here in the AD's Porticom, we've got 11 ADs who work on main unit. We come up with a bit of a plan and then we run it from here.
Action.
So on with the show.
Locations Department decided to put some beautiful pictures up of sunny New Zealand. Here in Wellington we get sunny days, but they are few and far between. We get a lot of rain.
Got a wet ass.
But we also get hail. Lots of hail. Coming into box 3, there's some busy little bees down there.
Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to the Hobbit Stunt Department. I just died. Hey, so this is the intensity we'd like to bring on set every day. Hopefully you enjoy it. Okay, come on guys, let's go! We're on set, come on, let's go!
Hi, welcome to the Hair and Makeup Department. Here we are on day 5,953 of shooting, and we're now actually trying to repair the wigs that have been doing the barrel sequence for the past 3 days. As you can see, this wig's lovely natural blonde colour, whereas the other wigs that we've now got here, which have been bleached, and so now I have to try and turn these wigs back into this wig. So that's my job for the rest of the day, to get all the wigs ready for Monday.
Here we are in the costume workshop, and we've got racks lined up here for all our dwarves because we have to do constant repeats for their stunt doubles, their photo doubles. Then we've got our flesh factory where 3 people have been making the dwarf fat suit components.
So this is A stage. This is the stage that we built in time for Lord of the Rings. It was our biggest stage then, so we did things like Elrond's chamber at Rivendell, where the Council of Elrond took place. B stage has amazingly enough been used for a lot of shooting. There was a lot of Lord of the Rings. Bag End was built here in B stage. You can hardly call it a studio really, it's just an old tin shed. Kind of feels a bit like I'm driving the tram at Universal Studios. I guess. Over here we do have our biggest sound stage, which is called K stage. K being named after King Kong.
We've had some pretty big set pieces in here recently. Mirkwood Forest and some of the Trollshaw Forest scenes. Here we have F and G. These are our 2 newest stages, being built specifically for The Hobbit. They've pretty much got the latest technology inside them and rather large extraction units for all those fires and flames and smoke.
At the very end of the studios is the art department, the home of Dan Henner, Alan Lee and John Howe.
Morning guys, welcome to the art department. Come on in, I think the production designer is in. G'day Dan.
Hello dear boy, all good?
Fantastic.
We've got 6 weeks and 2 days of principal photography left. We're shooting the sluices at the moment, which is film 1 sets. We're very busy.
And this over here is our set decorator, Ra Vincent.
Hi, come with me, I've got something very cool to show you. This is my favourite place. It brings into play all of the ideas from all the individual contributors in the art department, and they get to share all their ideas in here, and this is where the first spark of inspiration begins. And in this office is Alan Lee and John Howe.
I'm Alan. I'm John. Good afternoon. We basically sit here all day long doing drawings. 3 years of it, a couple of thousand drawings each, and amazingly enough, we're still having fun. We see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we thought for a second, ooh, it might be a train. It turns out it's a dragon.
Come through this way, I'll take you through to the model makers. Our calligrapher, Daniel Reeve. And this way to the model makers. So we have many models we have to make. We've done approximately 115 sets to date, and each one of those sets we try to make a model to show Peter before we begin construction.
That kind of thing's nice.
We've got this model we showed Peter this morning. There's a few adjustments we have to make for it, and then we'll be straight into construction of this. We shoot this in 1 week's time.
Welcome guys, we're here on F stage, come on in, that's where our main unit is shooting today. We're doing a scene here for film 1, and it's a scene in the troll cave, so follow me, we'll come here. But Zane, our lovely producer,
information.
Ian Richards, who's leaving, and follow me, we'll go on set, but I'm quietly there, rehearsing there.
You're working with Jimmy on the timing of this, so it's important guys to get that box.
I'm Corin, I'm the booth swinger, and this is Tony, the sound recordist. These are some of the newer stages. Had soundproofing, which makes it fantastic for us, being as there's an airport just over the hill that way.
This is the first production that's been in here, and one of the biggest things is this headroom up here now, so the guys can walk all the way down these walkways without bumping their head on stuff.
I'm a specialist roof dweller. It's handy if you don't have a fear of heights. Very embarrassing if you drop something. Cost you 2 dozen beer.
Alright, shooting!
But now we're just gonna walk away. They're gonna shoot.
3, 2, 1, action!
Hi, my name's Dion. I'm head of technology on the Hobbit. Just going to show you through my office and my space, known as the Tin Shed. Come on in. We look after the technology, rigs, cameras. This rig here is a surface rig for shooting on water. Going in the next couple of days to shoot a very exciting sequence with the Dwarfs. She's all wireless and all made here in Wellington over the last couple of weeks.
Well, g'day. You've seen some pretty good technology back there in the tin shed, I understand. Come have a look out here, because this is pretty basic technology. This is where we've built a humongous green screen. This is called the backlot. Now, the backlot is where we shoot all sorts of the outdoor scenes. They can be battle scenes, they can be wet sets, and obviously being a green screen, the backgrounds can be changed later on in post-production. Have a look down here. Well, now you can see we're on top of the green screen. This rig up here is a rig designed by Tony Keddy, the Key Grip. This rig holds huge shade cloth to block the sun off when we're filming down. We don't want the sun going in and out of cloud all day. Crikey, what's going on down here?
This is 9 square. It's pretty complicated.
Get the ball, hit it to the next player, get it out of your square as quickly as possible.
Anything on the line is always contentious.
It's all about attitude. Do not give in, do not make eye contact, make your ball with pride.
You've got to lie your way through.
It's always the umpire's call.
Ref is always right!
Guys, please, I'm trying to do something. This is where we store the lead weapons. You can see a multitude of boxes. Each box is one lead character's weapons. This is Gloin's box of beauties, and they belong to Gimli in The Lord of the Rings, and Gloin, his father, for The Hobbit.
Action!
Gloin!
They are in fact the same axe, they've just been made in 2 different sizes. I think we've now reached about 4 scales for every weapon we make. Probably about time that you went down to see who made all these weapons. We're at a workshop. Very easy, just round the corner. Out the front drive, make sure you take a right. You go past the tie place, then turn left. You're all the way down the end of the road. Don't stop, you'll get to the end. The road's 90-degree turn. You need to turn, otherwise you'll hit Wetter Workshop.
When you guys come on in, it's pretty crazy at the moment. Come on down here. It's all cast weapons end up in clean up, and this young chap, Alec, is madly trying to get the axes finished. Bowstrings, weapons lined up for the day's painting. So Kiri's just putting the aging pass on quite a decent croquet hammer. Another painting area, this is models. The milling department, injection moulding out of this gun, spraying, trimming, sanding, engineering, bending, cutting, dyeing, sculpting, mould making, flashing, baking, foam filling. And then for every one of the lead actors that has a full prosthetic, and of course with Biffa his axe, we also make scale doubles of these.
Welcome to the Scaly Portacom.
Hi, I'm Callie.
I'm Sophie.
I'm Brendan, and this is Biffa, the hopeless romantic.
We're scale doubles, so we spent a lot of time being short.
Yeah, we're paid to be short.
They wanted us for our bodies.
Hey, have you guys seen the behind-the-scenes team yet?
I know where they are. Follow me.
See you later.
Thought a long time ago, actually. Before that, it was... What are you doing?
I've been filming the blog. It's like a pet project.
Filming the blog?
Well, yeah.
That's very good, but shouldn't you be killing orcs or something?
Shouldn't you be directing a movie?
Yeah. Right, so here we are at the end of the blog. Hope you've enjoyed this tour around our little world down here in Miramar, New Zealand.
I hope you particularly enjoyed the camera work.
I thought it was terrific.
Wonderful.
In fact, I think we should take that wig off and get you behind the camera. I'll take over the role, don't worry.
You want to be Legolas?
Yeah,
everybody.
Kieran as Legolas.
Kieran as Legolas. This is a done deal. Hey, so we're going to come back with another blog when we wrap in a few weeks' time, or shortly after we wrap. So look forward to our final blog of our shooting period coming up soon.
The bitter end.
The happy end.
The happy end.
So, welcome to our latest blog. We're driving to Comic-Con with butterflies in my stomach, presenting footage for the first time. It was always a slightly intimidating and scary thing. Plus, I've got to face a day of interviews. But another 10 hours and it'll all be behind us. So hopefully we'll find Ian and Richard in here somewhere. The Hobbit certainly is more funny. One interview down. When I call you guys up on stage...
We're coming out one at a time.
Yes. I saw on the One Ring this morning that people have been camping out since Wednesday to get into Hall H. Those are the sorts of people that I like hanging out with. I'm going to be going on soon, and I've been recruited to do some blog filming with my iPhone, because this camera isn't allowed on stage, but nobody's going to stop me shooting with my iPhone.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage.
Let's bring up a few of our friends that we have here. Philippa Boyens, Andy Serkis, Richard Armitage, Martin Freeman, Sir Ian McKellen. We also have a surprise guest, Elijah Wood.
I love you guys. I came all the way from Brazil just because of you.
Thank you.
I spent all my money on this trip, but it was worth it.
These are the people that we're making the film for, and I'm really happy that it was received in such a great way. I'd just like you to do something for all the people that couldn't be here. Could you just say hi from Comic-Con? 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. No need for a take two. That was bloody good. And so now we would like to show you a little bit of what we showed the audience at Hall H. That's great. Yeah, good. Welcome to the last 5 days of our shoot. It's a bittersweet kind of moment.
It feels like I'm still at the foot of the mountain.
It's a little difficult to do a wrap-out on our last bit of shooting because so much of what we've been doing recently has been filmed too, which is obviously secret. But we'll show you little bits and pieces, little snippets, and there'll be a lot more of what we've been doing that we'll save up for future vlogs.